إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم sister and brother.
وعليكم السلام.
الحمد لله أحمده وأستعينه وأستغفره وأستغفر الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. All praise is due to Allah. I praise Him. I seek His assistance, and I beseech His guidance, and I ask for His forgiveness. I bear witness that there's no God but Allah, the one. He has no associate. And I bear witness that Muhammad is His servant and His messenger. Dear beloved believers, today I was asked about a little while ago, brother, Saifullah. And he said, "Are you ready?" I don't know, what are you talking about? He said, "You ready?" Muslims are always ready. So I had to question him. That's one thing we should do when things come before us. We question it. Make sure we're on the same page. He said, "Well, we'd like for you to do the khutbah." I said, "I would do khutbah a long time." He said, but I said, "I'll do it," because he wouldn't ask unless he needed it. And we, as a people, when the call is given, we should respond. Because we're not one, we're a group, we're a community. And when you get a need, you respond to the need. So I'm here in the Big D, Detroit, Michigan, where it all started. Relatives here on the east side, west side. I was a little boy that had what they call the Big Four here. Belvedere and Maxwell and Burns and Crane, all of them, a few relatives like LaBelle, I think it was LaBelle O'Lear and Purcell and Calvin on the west side. But before I get into our talk today, I would like to take this time, if it's proper, to thank the believers here in Detroit for what they have done in sending water to Flint which was so surely needed and appreciated. Every bit helps. It's not a little bit. Any at all is a bit, and we need it. It's a crisis situation, and the president came to Detroit to the car show, but he didn't come to Flint to the lead show. 60 miles. No phone call. Didn't come, but he's coming Wednesday. Responding supposedly to a letter that a little 8-year-old sent. But the President of the United States should be aware of crisis. And it should take a letter from an 8-year-old to respond to people's lives are at risk. Some have already, as you know, been watching the national news. This is national. Have passed away. Some are sick. I may be sick because we were drinking the water, not knowing that it had the lead poison. It only stays in the body 48 hours. And if they test you after 48 hours, it won't show lead. The damage is done. It's almost like Shaitan whispering and he's gone. But I want to talk to you today. I want to do like a community brotherly family talk. By the token of the time, al-ars, inna insana lafi khusr, inna alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawasaw bil-haqq wa tawasaw bis-sabr. By the token of the time through the ages, surely man is at loss, except those who believe and do righteous deeds and exalt one another to truth and constancy. So, by the token of the time, man is at loss. You're talking history. And in order to go forward, you have to look back at your history. And some people say, we don't need to go back to history. But if you want to go home right now, when you leave this mess here, you got to think history to get back home. Because if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going. In this community of al-Islam, worldwide, but specifically here in America, have a great blessing bestowed upon us. And I kind of want to talk about that because sometimes I get the feeling, and I could be wrong, that we might not know the blessing that's on us and who we are. Because if you don't know who you are, you might not know what to do. And you might shy away when you should be stepping forward. The media is great at doing some things, but all praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He came to a people that had been put all the way down, reduced down to nothing. When this movement in America started right here in Detroit in 1930 or 31, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the African in America, or the black man, had been reduced down to absolutely nothing. And he picked up from this strange stranger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, picked up and took a message. He was a fiery, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a mean preacher, a fiery preacher. And he took the lowest of the low, not the rich, not the well-off, and cleaned them up to where they had respect, which we don't have today. They had respect. Women, respect for women, do for self, and kind. and he grew. And throughout America, we were known as the Nation of Islam. And probably a little over 30 years after he rose, brought the nation to us people to the status that we are, Imam Muhammad came and disassembled the whole idea of the black man being God and the white man being the devil, and set us up on an international world Abrahamic movement of there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Prophet Muhammad got the message in this Quran that we teach out of. He believed it, he had faith, he believed in it, and the believers believed in it. And that was 1400 and some years ago, and you're sitting here today as proof of that movement. I gotta get some water if you excuse me. I have diabetes, and excuse me, I'll take a drink. So, we here in America, not necessarily black, not necessarily white, like we used to say in the Nation of Islam, black and white, but Caucasians and Africans in America. Not Afro-American, but Africans in America. And the lowest of the low have in their possession, in your head and in my head, what is it going to take to change Detroit, Saginaw, the United States, the Islamic world, so-called Islamic world, Europe, Africa, and all over. Now I know that's a big step for people who come from the lowest of the low. You may not believe it, but I'm telling you, you the people. No one else hold that title but you. No one else was ever in the condition in the history. You can read in the Bible, in the Torah, in the Quran. You can go to the Hindu, you can go to Buddha, you can go throughout the world. You won't find anywhere where anyone was reduced to the level of the African in America. And now we're here as a people with God's help and his messenger, that we have a Quran and a Hadith and a way of life. We have a guidance. See, in the old days, we would call it the lost find. When you go to lost and found, you're looking for something. If you ever lost anything, and you dig in, and you go through a bunch of stuff that don't belong to you, but you finally find what's yours. That's the lost found. So when the lost was found, there was a lot of lost finds. And now that we're found, we have guidance. And once you have guidance, you're no longer lost. And that's the key. I don't want to point my finger, but we're people. We are it. When you're it, when you've been touched by the hand of God, and you got a prophet, Muhammad, as a guide, as an example, then you are no longer lost. You can see when you turn on your TV and your radio and your media that the world is lost. The need for leadership that was talked about in 1976 is more a need for leadership today than it was in 1976. Your candidates for the presidency, whether Democrat, Republican, Independent, it's scandalous and shameful for what you're hearing for a leader. You don't hear leadership. Leadership can be developed right here if it's not. And that's what's important for me today to say to you as brothers and sisters in Detroit or anywhere Muslims reside in America. Establish, you have leadership. 1931 to 1975 to now, you have leadership. You have leadership that no one else has. Don't shy away. We shy away. We're afraid to stand up. You don't have to go out and start a war, but you need to speak truth to the power and speak truth to your relatives. We're wasting money on holidays, and we talk about dunya and spirituality. Oh, we can quote, boy, we can quote, but we can't do it. We're throwing our resources away. We're not teaching our children anything about their history. That's our future. When we were, well, most of us that are sitting here, I'm probably the oldest here, close to it. Most of us are sitting here. You didn't determine whether you was going to church. You went to church because they made you go to church. We got soft. We used to take them to the temple. But after you met Muhammad, we got free. You could stay and watch the basketball game or whatever during time, and pretty soon they watched us argue and fight with each other. Telling you the truth, this is the day of the truth. You won't like me after the day, this is all I'm going to tell you. You break down, they see you acting unseemly, and they don't want a part of it. Our children want leadership. You want leadership. And we're going to get leadership. Because not only have we gone too far and we can't turn back, we won't turn back. There's a group of us that's not going to turn back. The model has been established. We're not driving through the rearview mirror. We're going to glance back in the past because that's the way we're going to get home. See where we come from so we can keep on going. But we're driving looking frontwards. We're going forward. We've got to go forward. I don't know how I can emphasize that more. We've had expert leadership. Expert leadership. We're looking to other people to lead us. With all due respect, the Arabs can't lead us. They can't. The sheikhs we got, they can't lead us. With all due respect, the Democrats and Republicans can't lead us. You may think so. They don't have it. You got it. You can't be afraid to use it. I don't have a master yet that I teach. I've been a resident imam since 1984. A building. I've probably done more teaching out of a building than I've done in the building. If I see you at the service station, you ask me a question, you just made a mistake. So I'm going to give you what I got. To the point, I'm not going to fire hose you, but I'm going to sprinkle you a little bit. And if you look like you're interested, then we give you a little more. That's how you recruit people. You can't recruit them. You can't convert them. But people need leadership. People are looking for something. They're searching for something. Physical slavery gone, mental slavery, and liberation is not gone in the minds of our people. Some of us sitting here right now are not liberated. I don't know if I'm liberated, but I'm working on it. You have to be liberated. You have to free your mind from the influences of slavery. We can't continually crisis, trying to be everybody else. Be yourself. God created you. He created you. You don't have to be anybody else. Be you with guidance. If you with guidance, who can beat you? No one. We were knocked out. They were counting. They may have gone to 10, but we got up. Because 10 being a conscious number, we still got up. Where are you, Fred? I'm in Detroit. So he knew I was able to continue to fight. But if I had told him I was in Afghanistan, he'd have sent me, he'd have waved his hand and said, the fight's over. The fight's not over, brothers and sisters. It's not over. The struggle is going to go on. And we are duty bound to keep it going on. This idea of hanging back and letting other people call the shots is a yesterday idea. When you have it and you know you got it, then you should act upon it. That's where deeds and action take place. This what I'm doing now is talk. But deeds and action is what counts. Even the Christians would say, well, the works I've done speak for me. But what's going to speak for us? We have the guidance in our hand. We've had teaching like no one else. You can name any people, Jew, Christian, no one, that had anyone teach them for the amount of time that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Imam Muhammad taught us. No one. Now, if I'm wrong, after Juma, push me over in the corner and name who those people are. Because I've researched it. There's no one. All this talk about going back into Moses and out Notting, if you want to go back to Africa, and Kemet and all of that you hear, and all this history. Yes, there's been people coming, but who have ever been reduced to nothing? Enslaved, all kinds of ways, every type of heinous action worked upon you, and then you come to the position to where you are now. Intelligent. You are an intelligent people. All we have to do is work together. We're not going to ever get together, but we can work together. And that's what we need to do, work together. Because what happens when we share, see, everyone on you, God created each and every one on the floor. If you got a navel, you come from a woman. Now, if you're sitting here without a navel, you should excuse yourself. All right? Not being facetious. I'm serious. Because that mother is closest to God that you will ever see in this life. Now, if God is closer to you than your jugular vein. But had she aborted you, you wouldn't be here. And if she didn't feed you when you got here, you wouldn't be here. So you've got to give sisters credit. And we got to protect them. Our sisters is the only sisters that's unprotected. We're upset with them. Why? We're not standing up. This is man talk. This is not a criticism. This is man talk and women talk. This is brother talk and sister talk. When I say we're not standing up, we have to provide. We have to establish. We have to set up things. We tell our children to go to school. I have a lawyer in my daughter. 2 in business, MBA, graduated from Wharton. Another one, registered nurse, pediatrician. Told her to go to school. I couldn't hire a single one of them. And no one looked like me could hire with any degree of income. You got to work for someone else. When our sisters go into the office, she gets a welfare check, you go in and the police get called. Because she needs care, food, clothing, and shelter. We can't keep on expecting other people to provide for ours. We have to provide for ourselves. There's some effort, small effort, for business. United States wide, there's enough Muslims in this country to have a school all over this country, to have housing. Look into the Muslim journal. And get in old Muhammad's feet, the dream of the Elijah Muhammad with the farmland and stuff like that. Telling you, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and a symbol is worth 1,000 pictures. When you look and see halal movie theater, hot car, Imam Muhammad was putting images out there to give us ideas that we was going to build our own community. We need to have our own. We can control our own. We don't worry about the police. You have never heard Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and during that time having a police department, a bunch of cops running around, did you? You never heard of that. You never heard of a jail in Africa. You don't see it on the walls in Africa. But the law that this book teaches you, when you put it in your head, in your community, each and every one of us is obligated to the community. Not brother so-and-so will go do it. No, when you catch someone out of pocket, first of all, the family should take care of it. Then the family should go to the extended family. And it's the same thing in this masjid, in any masjid. If someone is acting unseemly, we go to that person to correct them. There's a hadith to cover that. Prophet Muhammad, Brother King, was talking about the brother drinking and acting like non-Muslim. The Prophet asked him, what did you do? What did you do? And the Prophet told him, you should have corrected him. So we have to correct each other, not in a way of vindictiveness. Brother, you know that's wrong. And everybody is telling him he's wrong. Not just this brother, but we all are saying that is wrong and we're not having it. Now you either shape up or you get out. Because that's how you become strong. I was talking to a brother, and we just got into a discussion last week, an actual question. And choosing leadership. And he said something that I heard Imam Muhammad say. Choose the best thereof. You should seek the best that you can find out of your group. That's who you choose. Not your buddy, not your kin folks, not the one you like, but the best one. In conduct and everything, because that's what the group will work with best. When you have a consensus, when you have a board, when you have anything, you have to have someone that we all work for. When the leader, whoever it is, I'm only going to lead Fred. So that's all I'm going to try to do, because I'm just going to lead Fred. But I'm a part of this group. Anytime I'm here, if I'm in Los Angeles, I'm a part of that group because there are Muslims there. If there's something going on, I'm in it. You don't have to ask me if I'm in it, I'm in it. If I'm in Atlanta, I'm in it. If I'm on Hajj, when I was on Hajj, I was in it. I'm going to be in it here, wherever I go. We should be in it. Why? Because we're one body. We're one body in the world and one body in Detroit. And when you got people among you that's stepping away from the way it should go, you go to them to correct them, not to destroy them. Could be just an error. I'll be making an error now. Someone should say, SubhanAllah, stop me. Okay? If I'm making an error. There's nothing wrong with that. Then I may pull back. If I pull back, I'm okay. If I don't, it should be just like God did with Shaitan. Get you down from here. You don't belong here. You belong someplace else. But what we do, because we're not comfortable as to who we are, what we do, well, I want to help that brother, sister. They all right. We went to the movies together last night. Has nothing to do with what this is about. We have guidance here for everything we need to do. We don't have to take the back seat anymore like we did on the bus and everywhere else in our history. we can step forward, and we should step forward, because the leadership that's out there now do not know what they're doing. And if you have confidence in them, then you make a big mistake. It's going to jerk us around day in and day out, one thing after another. Today this, tomorrow this, that, and the third, and they're not going to the problem. First of all, you can carry this with you as long as you live. First of all, you want to know what you want to do as soon as you wake up in the morning. And you can do this all day long. What do I want to do? Number one. Two, why? Why do I want to do what I want to do? Your why should be strong, because your why will drive you to the victory. Why do I want to do this? And the next thing, three, what plan am I going to use to get from here to Inkster? If I don't have a plan, I might end up at E-course. You must have a plan. But most importantly, of those three is four. What constructive results are you seeking? Because if it's non-constructive, you shouldn't do it. You should only do what is constructive. That's how you grow. If it's constructive and it's going to build, that's how you grow. I don't care whether it's in the masjid. I don't care if you're building a doghouse to cover your dog. If it's constructive and keeping the elements off of that dog, that's constructive. Build a doghouse. If you're just doing it to show off to your neighbors that you got one, that's not constructive. That's foolishness. So we need to always think of doing what is constructive. Those four things you can always carry when you go into this Quran. What am I doing? I'm getting ready to read God's word. This is not just some man's word. This is revelation that came to our prophet. Something revealed is not the final call. If someone called you for the final call, they just said they're not going to call you anymore. They didn't have to tell you what they want once they call you. But when something is revealed to you, you see what it is. You know what it is because it's revealed truth. And if you want, this is what we got to get with. Revealed truth. And you don't have to go out and have a cookbook. When you read this Quran, you start using common sense for real. You start using mother wit for real. I've tried it. I know it worked. If you haven't, try it. Little by little, try it. Don't reject it. Try it. And if it doesn't work, then it wasn't for you. But I assure you that it'll work. Little by little. Got to make sure I don't close. Getting too much into the time. So, I'll pause for now. We'll finish on the book of this talk. Praise God. You know, when the prophet made his ascension from Adam all the way up to the 8 steps, he led the brothers in prayer. Adam, Jesus, John, Idris, which is Ezekiel in the Bible, Harun, Aaron, on and on and on. You know the story. You've read it. Abraham searched God's universe, seeking one thing, his God. And he was searching for truth. Rational truth. And logic. But there's something in the prayer of Abraham, when we say Abraham and Nia, that's significant. O Allah, bless Muhammad. We say that in the true followers of Muhammad. Right? And then he said, O Allah, make Muhammad successful as thou did bless Abraham, Moses, Jesus, successful. He blessed Jesus, the prophet Jesus. He blessed Moses. And then the reason for that, the Christians have a saying, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Thy Lord, thy kingdom come. They're asking for the kingdom. They do it all the time. So the Muslims wanted to know, what would we have? So the prophet said, told them, say, bless Muhammad, ask Allah to bless Muhammad, and make Muhammad successful as you did Moses, Jesus, Abraham, really, as you bless Abraham, as we said. Make Abraham successful. Bless Abraham. Now, we've already been blessed. We're out of slavery. Quakers, Christians, abolitionists, and other people. You get free. Somewhat. You're not totally free because you don't have justice. You can't have freedom without justice. What is justice? Justice is nobody's mistreated. No one here can stand up and say that nobody's not being mistreated. Worldwide. It's not just here in America. We need to eliminate the system of mistreatment. Because if someone's mistreated, then we're not free. We must be free. In mind, when Imam Muhammad was pointing to here, he wasn't nervous. He was telling you where the work has to be done. So, since we've been blessed, where's the success? Now we know that Judaism has been successful. We know that Christianity has been successful. He didn't tell us something that hasn't been done. We're asking for something that has been done. If it's been done once, it can be done again. But you have to have the courage and the confidence to know that you're it. It can't happen through anyone else. It's not time to go back and get someone else to take it if we don't do it. We've already waited. We've already was prepared for this. When they made the mistake of bringing us here to work free, to work like a slave and be a slave, and to abuse youth, and always known to man, even until today, it's just more refined now. They used to just blatantly come out and do it. And this is not a race talk, this is a real talk. This is what has happened. And because that has happened, God looked down on the struggling poor, me and you, the worst off in the world. Not the best off, the worst off, the lowest of the low. In America. He could have gone to Europe, Africa, or wherever, but he came where the lowest of the low was. Here, in America. And when I say Allah, I'm talking about the universe of God that's got that sun rolling over the universe right now that you can't see the power behind it. That power is in this room right now. Hold
on to and not be divided. That's what your power is. The same word for that cable is the same word for that knot. When you say, I'm tying the knot. The more you tell the truth, the tighter the knot get. The bigger time you lie, the looser it get. When you have to stop lying and tell the truth, no, regardless to whom or what. It's in here. It's in here. Tell the truth. Even if it's against your kin, your best friend, or even your own self. Tell the truth and to not get tighter, because that's how trust is. I'm going to tell you something about trust. Once you break trust with anybody or anything, once you break it, you'll never get it back again. Because as soon as something looked like what you did before, maybe you didn't, but if it looked like it, that's it, buddy. It's over. They won't trust you no more. So we have to develop trust. We have to do that. That's the glue that's going to hold us together. Oh, I trust Imam Muhammad, but I don't trust you. You're lying. If you haven't given me a reason not to trust you, then I should trust you. That's how we build this thing. The model, a small group. It won't be a whole lot because we're talking trust now. You won't get a big crowd. But that small group will grow. That small brother that got the message in the cave, went to his wife and got hugged, got shook, and thought he was mad, is the reason you're sitting here now. Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's you yourself, when you was conceived. You were small. Some of us is morbidly obese. I'm almost. Look how we're grown. You start small and grow big. Right here. You must have a guide. You must have a guide. It's important to have a guide. This idea that I know and nobody else know and I know what I'm doing is all foolishness. We don't know what we're doing. We need guidance. Anytime you've been reduced down to nothing, you know what you're doing. Take the guidance. That's what the power is. You remember Muhammad used to give the analogy of the baseball game, coming home. Good analogy. I tried to knock out the park when I was playing baseball. Every time I got up there, I struck out a lot because you got to keep your eye on the ball. Can't do that. But that makes synonymous of a relay race. When I got that baton, I'm going. I'm going for it. I'm not getting out of my lane, and I don't intend for you to beat me. I'm going to pass a baton one day. And so will you. The thing is, how do we run the race? What do we give those behind us? What do we leave them so they can take it home? It's going to go home. See, we can't stop it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got this. And the one thing that they never wanted us to know is our inheritance. When you take something away from me, you have taken away my inheritance. They talk about, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal, endowed by their Creator. That's God giving your Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You're not pursuing happiness. You have the right to pursue property, and that's what they took away from you. As a slave, you didn't have any property. You were the property. They don't want you to know that, because once you understand your inheritance, which is the good life, this Quran and the example of Prophet Muhammad will give you the good life in your individual life, in your marriage life, in your to-be married life, in your association with other people. Some of us don't have a association with Caucasian other than tacky, trashy, and terroristic. It's either going to be one of the three. Start out tacky, Then it gets trashy, or somebody's going to say something. And now we're going to get upset. Now it's going to be a fight. That's terror. And when we look at the leadership down through the history, it's their history. They wrote it. They did it. There's been war after war after war. They hate us. We're protecting ourselves. But you there fighting. They're not here fighting. You somewhere else fighting. So who is the terrorist? You think about it. And someone has got to rein them in, because if we don't, they're going to destroy everything. They almost, but we got help. We got powerful help. See, what I'm saying to you right now, I'll say anywhere. I feel more uncomfortable here because y'all are wise, and I was at the White House, I really would show out. But they don't know nothing. They scamming and they following the schemes of Satan. Those are the schemes that's going to take you out. And we have to be careful of that when they walk through the door. Just don't go to hugging up snakes as soon as you see one. It may warm up on you and bite you. But you got to find out what it is before you put it in your bosom. This is good common sense. This is the book that we give it to you, guaranteed. You'll even drive better. You may drive fast like me, but I'm a good driver. I want to get there because I didn't want to be late today. The cop stopped me. I got something for him. He let me go. I got a brother right here, a bad witness. I was coming from Chicago. Must have been rolling about 85. He looked at it and saw that big smile Fred had, and I told him what I was doing, and I said, "Not really rolling." He said, "Go on, slow it down. Don't you try that, because it's got to be real." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was with me. You can't see that. See, when you're holding that rope, you can't see what, with your eyes, what God is bringing to you. And you can't see what the other person is sending to God, can you? No, you can't. You can't see it. But it's happening. Anybody picking the cotton this morning? I doubt it. I doubt it. Anybody get a whipping lash all over your back? I doubt it. We are moving there, but we haven't gotten there. And it would be a shame, it is a shame, that we're letting our young ones, our future. See, when you win the crown, when you go for the championship, that is trained boxers. You go for the championship, you got the crown. They say, you got the crown, you got the heavyweight crown on the belt. Well, the belt's here, but you don't sleep with it. These brothers has got the belt off. Our young brothers. They're undressing almost. And I used to get upset about it. Then I thought about it. Did Hitler have his pants up? Mussolini, Tojo, Bilbo? Yeah, Bilbo. Eastman. Any of those, this is Juma, what I need to call them. They had their pants up, but look what they done. Your pants up or down is not what make you a bad person. You get this straight, the pants come up. We're not spending good quality time with our children, our family. We've been foolish on 2 holidays in particular. Christmas and Easter. Oh, well, see, Fred, I don't really believe it. It's for the kids. Well, it's been for the kids ever since you got out of slavery. And we don't have an African-centered school. And no, not one of you that's a descendant of a slave can come up here and recite to me an African language. And a few, if any, in the whole United States. But boy, you can speak Arabic, and you can speak French, and you can speak Chinese, and you can speak German, Urdu, on and on and on. But someone has convinced you that you shouldn't be able to speak anything of your own. You can learn all those others, but why don't you get a language of your own? I don't want you to learn all the languages of Africa because you got no languages over there, and they probably got sand in the sea. But learn one for your children. I don't like it when I'm standing at the counter and everybody starts talking another language because they don't want me to hear what they're talking about. They may be calling me another name I might not like. I like to be able to step up in there and talk me a language then. You wonder what I'm talking about. They could be talking about whipping us or lynching us when we walk out the store. We wouldn't know the difference because we don't know what they're saying. But we have to get our own community. When you get your own community, you control it. We don't need you, police. We got this. Get out of here. Go out there where you come from, because that's where the problem is. We don't want you bringing it in here. That's how you control your own. That's innately in our history ever since the Elijah Muhammad. Get your own. We're comfortable now. We've been to General Motors, you retired from Chrysler and Ford and all of this, that I got a pension that they can take tomorrow of the day. They already got the law set in all these FEMA camps. And they hooked up with a lot of ministers. If that grid breaking something catastrophic happen, go here, go there. You may never see your relatives again. You got relatives that come out of New Orleans during Katrina. They haven't seen their relatives since. You're going to blow that levee of that dam to run that water from the French Quarter into the Ninth Ward and destroy it. Then you're going to say, the president, I know I'm stepping on toes now because y'all thought he was God, said he no more God sent than me. God sent him just like he sent me and you. He was selected just like all the rest of them were selected. Right. And he's got to do what they tell him to do, or then not only will they get there just as he get on the elevator, they'll get him and his children before they get on the elevator and put a loud on TV, probably like they're doing with Prince. Or Michael Jackson, or Johnny Cochran, or Khalid Muhammad, on and on and on. Malcolm X coming up the aisle shooting and all the bullets going down. I think when you're shooting up from the bottom, bullets should be coming up. Common sense. But they can sell us anything because we sleep. Some of us, or some of y'all are awake. I can see the brightness of your face. You're very awake. You do a better job up here than me. You ready? All I'm asking you to do is hold on to it and use it. If you got something, use it. And when you got Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his book and his example in Prophet Muhammad, you got the best weapon. You don't even need a 1-2. Just a 1 will take it. But you got to have confidence. This book will give you confidence and responsibility. You can't have a good masjid or center anywhere in America without responsibility. You can't have it without trust, and you got to be accountable for what you do. And I can say you got to love each other, but I don't want to say that. It'd be nice if you did, but you would certainly have to use what God has brought to you. That's right. Now, any time that you don't, you find ourselves in the position that we're in. Now, it's the tragedy in Flint today, but it's the blessing in disguise. Flint is going to be the Medina. It's about 20 miles, it's about 40-some miles from Mecca to Medina. Manawa, Medina. With just a little bit more in Flint. President coming Wednesday. You think he coming because that 8-year-old sent a letter? Give me a break. He get all kind of letters. He's coming to tell the business people, we got you. And when you tell the business people, we got you, they're going to start building. Well, how do you know that, Fred? You don't have no hair on your head. How do you know that? All right? When I was running track in high school, Ann Arbor, I'm 77 years old. Ann Arbor had Main Street and places, that's it, no restaurants on the sidewalk. One high school, Ann Arbor Pioneers, and that's it. Okay? Now, pristine city. Little pocket over here, about 3 or 4 African American, rest of them, pristine city. That's what they're going to do to Flint. How do I know? They got Kettering, one of the best universities in the United States. They're not moving. University of Michigan, Flint, Ann Arbor, growing. They're not moving. They don't seem to be worried about the water. All right? You got Mott College, been there, First Flint JC. They're not moving. You got Applewood, C.S. Mott's home. They're going to have a tour next Wednesday, big tour. One of the richest men in the United States, when the stock split is making $8 million a day. They're not moving. Applewood. Now Michigan State's there. They just came. They're not moving. They're drinking the water in the bottle, but they know they're not going to keep on doing it. They may even have some shit there and we don't know about it. But they're not going any place. The rail system is already there from General Motors. The river is there, the water. They can fix that whenever they get ready. Okay? You got the expertise of workers there. You got everything you need. You got the expressways, in and out, easy access. You don't have to stop on the corner and look at me like, you just get on the expressway and get the heck out of town. You understand? All these things were set up for a reason. They can also block you in as a city. Roll up with the military tanks, like they did in Missouri, and block off 10, 96, 696, 94, and on and on and on. And guess who's sitting inside like sitting ducks? We are. So don't you think that we need to deal with these people and get their heads straight? They need it. They'll listen if you approach them. Because there's one thing that they don't want you to be. They don't want you to know more than them. They don't want you to be better than them. You turn your hat round backwards, he'll turn his round backwards. You wear your pants low, you see him with his low. He's following you because he's supposed to. You are the leader, and you are the leader because you're black. You're the leader because God chose you because of the position that you was put in. Your ancestors, I love the Lord. He heard my cry. I pitied every groan. Well, God did pity our groan. And now we sit here throughout America, afraid to say anything. We may offend boss. You don't have to offend people to tell them the truth. I hope I haven't been offensive today. I hope you forgive my passion and my weakness in the beginning, because sometimes with diabetes you don't always have the strength that you think you have. So you have to funnel along and bumble along. But I'm working on that. I intend to beat it. I've got the universal God out there working with me. They say, maybe I can't. I say I can. You know what? You need to say I can and forget about I can't in the dictionary. I can. Anytime you come from what you come from, you can. It's a matter of will. And I'm not talking about your Uncle Will. I'm talking about the willpower. And you got it. And let's get these young people going. Let's get something for them. They need it. They need jobs. That's why they're going to taking drugs and selling drugs. They don't have a job. They don't have an income. They need food. They need clothing. They need shelter. What choice does he have? He's just as black as we were when I came along, and we didn't break it in the house. We didn't even board it up. But we had a few jobs in the